All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Picked Off, where we go over all of the NFL games, make our predictions for all the games on the upcoming schedule. We're on week 14 of the NFL season. Got a lot of exciting matchups to get into, to discuss. Very excited for that. I'm here with my man Denzel Snipes, Jay Nelson,
What up? What
host of
up?
the Gauntlet, alongside myself, Joseph, and Dom DeRubius, as you guys all know. So I don't see any time to be wasted. There's no time to be wasted, Jay. Let's get into our first matchup.
Yep,
Who we got? Who got
absolutely.
first on the slate?
Go ahead. Who we got first? Let's see here. Oh, hold on. I didn't hit the wrong thing. Hang on a second. There we go. Banners. No, we're gonna take that out. Oh, I'm not clear. All right.
Thursday night football.
Thursday night football. I'll get up. It's Patriots Steelers.
Patriots Steelers. Okay, matchup of two somewhat mediocre teams. Shout out to Grizz, who Grizz is in the comments. He says, "What's up? What's up, Grizz?"
Big
Grizz,
Grizzly. What up, man?
Grizz actually called it last week when he said that the Cardinals were going to beat the Steelers, which they did. So the Cardinals were a 2-win team, and they went on the road. By the way, just as the Patriots are going on the road, and they were able to win this game. So the way the Steelers have played this season is they've got the right ideas. They've definitely got a defense, but they have no consistency whatsoever offensively. They don't really have identity offensively. They can't really do anything. But it's pretty much the same with the Patriots, if not a little bit worse. Their quarterback situation is a complete mess. They can't do anything on the offensive side of the ball, so it's just a disaster for both teams. But I think the Patriots are a much bigger disaster than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and because of that, I'm going to pick the Steelers to win this game at home. I just don't see anything that the Patriots can do. And that's kind of been a common theme for them this season. So I got the Steelers.
Yeah, this is pretty much somebody has to win game. The Cardinals did go on the road and beat them in a rainstorm, mind you. And Kyler Murray's what third or fourth game back.
Got their
Uh,
third win of the season.
yeah, and so uh, I mean, I said last week that the Cardinals' offense does look a little different with Murray under center, but the Patriots, oh Jesus Christ! I mean, they became the first team since 1938 to lose three straight games in which in each game they gave up 10 points or fewer. Like if you
They
if you to,
lost six to
if
nothing.
yeah, 6-0. The previous game 10-7. The previous game 10-6. It's like how terrible do you have to be? Mac Jones will be holding the clipboard next year. I'm convinced. I'm going to go ahead and give my pre-draft, prediction out of the way and say either Penix Jr. or C. Will go to the Patriots. Jones is done. Bailey Zapp, not the answer. I don't know who's that third string, but Bill may actually want to try giving him a shot. Trubisky will be far and away the better quarterback on the field. At least he can probably put up 17 points. And that's all they're going to need to beat the Patriots. Steelers 17-3.
All right. So we're both starting off picking the Steelers. Wyatt says he's picking the Steelers, and I think Grizz is picking the Steelers. So we're all picking the Steelers so far. Next game, we have who do we got next? The Houston Texans at the New York Jets. I got the Texans winning this game. The Texans are right there in the wild card race. They're trying to get that 7 seed. It's a very congested thing right now. You have the Steelers there. You also have the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. All three teams at 7-5. They're trying to win games. The Texans have a favorable stretch coming up, starting with this game against the New York Jets, and then they're gonna play the Titans after that division game. Cleveland Browns, that'll be tough. That's a great defense. Titans again, Colts again. So it's got some tough division games down the stretch, but the Texans are in a good position to go on a run. The way that Stroud is playing, the team is playing great. Just go out and handle business. And the Jets are pretty much a huge mess right now. So I don't see a way that the Texans are going to lose this game. So I got the Texans by double digits.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Houston also. Unfortunately, Tank Dell has been lost for the season due to a fractured tibia, but that should not slow down the Texans offense at all. When you got guys like Noah Brown, who's capable of putting up 100 at any time, Nico Collins definitely stepped up big time with a 191-yard performance just last week. And then you got Devin Singletary and Damian Pierce in the backfield, Dalton Schultz as well. Brevin Jordan also emerged last week. So, the Texans offense is right there. Meanwhile, the New York Jets, they just released Tim Boyle and signed Brett Rippon. So, with that being said, this is a game
It's
you
a
absolutely
disaster.
have to win. And the only way that the Texans lose this is if they overlook them and fall asleep. But assuming that doesn't happen, I'm going to pick the Texans. I'm going to have them 27-10.
Okay, next game.
All right, let's go.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons coming off the win against the Jets, and the Buccaneers they started off the season as a team that was looking pretty decent, actually. Baker Mayfield was playing well, but this team has absolutely fell apart. I have no idea what's going on with them. Mike Evans, you just kind of feel bad for a guy like this because he's such a good player. Still in his career has not had a season below 1,000 yards. He's still doing it. I want to see him go to a contending team next season so he can try to at least win another Super Bowl before his career is over. But other than that, this team is pretty much a disgrace. So I'm going to pick the Falcons to win this one.
Yeah, it's about a month, 5 weeks ago. We actually were talking semi high about the Bucks, and then they proceeded to lose, I think 5 out of 6, and then he got last week.
Terrible.
But I mean, this is a division where someone has to win. But right now, the Falcons are looking like the better team. The Falcons could afford to call more design runs for Ritter. I think that's where he kind of fares right now, until he at least can be a prominent passer. Feed B Rob, absolutely. That's your bread and butter. Feed B Rob. Play fake to him. Find Drake London, across the middle somewhere. But you know, B Rob and Tyler Algier, they pretty much are going to be the motors to this offense. But it shouldn't take that much to beat the Buccaneers come Sunday. I'm going to pick the Falcons in this one. Falcons by 1.5. You know what? I'm going to take the Falcons by a field goal. I'm going to say 20-17.
And Grizz says he's got Tampa in an upset. The Falcons seem to always lose games that they're favored in while winning games in which they're the underdog. So it could happen. We know it is Atlanta after all. So what's the next game? Colts versus the Cincinnati Bengals after the Bengals stunned the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Trevor Lawrence injured in that game, and definitely going to have to discuss some things on the show with that on Friday. But I was very impressed with what I saw Jake Browning do in that game, and that's why I'm going to continue to pick the Bengals. They've got playmakers around him. You have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon, and all these guys around him. Don't try to force him to make a play that he doesn't have to make. Put the ball in these guys' hands in space. Get the ball to Jamar and let him make some plays against the Colts defense. I think that Jamar's going to be able to make stuff happen. So I think give Jamar all the targets that you can possibly get him against Indy, and then they'll really be able to get something going. I got the Bengals, a close one.
Huh. Yeah, it's going to be a close one. Indy's favored by 1. I'm going to take the Bengals also. A lot of people will say that Jake Browning won't have a performance like that, again this season. Um, you know, because you mentioned it was a stunner, and it certainly was. This was a game where even if T-Law had not have gotten hurt, Browning had the better stats. You know, but with the Bengals, they most definitely they needed that win. I'm not saying they're going to win a division. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but everybody in that division with the Bengals winning is 500 or above. The Bengals are showing a little bit of life, even with Jake Browning at quarterback. I'm going to go on a limb and say he may not repeat that exact performance, but he does enough to win the game. Uh, Listen, the only real mistake that I saw him make on Monday was he tends to hold the ball too long in the pocket. Dude, get out of there and get rid of the ball. Either run or throw it away. But when he has time, he can hit his man across the middle. He can hit Jamar Chase on a intermediate route and have him take it the distance. He just needs to repeat the same performance. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I'll say Bengals 27-24.
Interesting. Okay, next game. Next game, we have the Jaguars taking on the Cleveland Browns. And who is the Jaguars' backup quarterback? Is it CJ
DJ
Beathard?
Beathard. Yep.
CJ Beathard going against the Cleveland Browns defense. Yeah, not going to happen, buddy. Not on the road in Cleveland. Myles Garrett is going to make his life absolute living hell, and the Browns are going to win this one.
Well, uh, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns. Unless we see a Barry Sanders esque performance from ETN, I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns in this one. I who's Flacco? Hell, Flacco. If DTR plays, I've got them better than CJ Beathard. It's a real shame too because this game was supposed to be T Law versus Deshaun Watson, and then all these quarterbacks started dropping like flies and stuff. But I'm gonna take the Browns, probably a low scoring one.
I think
I'll
so.
say 17-14 Browns. So we got Wyatt with a comment here. Number of injuries in the NFL this season. Yes, it has been rough. Absolutely. It's been the year to backup quarterback, basically.
The news
Uh,
on Trevor Lawrence, though, is it's a high ankle sprain, so he's not out for the season, but it's going to be week to week. And this late in the season, I don't know if when he does come back, he is going to be 100% something to keep an eye on with the Jags trying to contend for that number one seed in the AFC. So, next game, guys, we have the Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Rams are on a 3-game winning streak while the Ravens are still trying to contend for that number one seed. It's going to be a tight race until the end. You have Kansas City, Miami, and Baltimore trying to all go at each other for that number one seed. But I think the Ravens are going to take care of business at home. That defense plays extremely well when they're at home. Although they did lose the tight end Mark Andrews for the season, they Lamar has made stuff happen with these young receivers. Trey Flowers has been outstanding. I'm gonna pick the Ravens to win this game at home.
yeah, I picked the Ravens, but I do have it closer than what people may think. I watched a Cleveland Browns team that shouldn't have won that game upset the Ravens on that same field, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. And Puka Nakua, I think he did cross 1,000. If not, he's approaching 1,000. Cooper Cup said hello to the end zone recently. So, and Stafford, hey, he's actually healthy. So I'm I'm going to pick the Ravens in this one, but I would not be surprised if the Rams pulled it off. But I'm going to take Baltimore in this one because, as you mentioned, Mark Andrews has been injured, but he has been getting the other young receivers loose and everything, and they've got just like 3 or 4 running backs that can get you 100 or a home run, run just like that. I'll say Ravens. I'll say 30-24.
Interesting.
Got a comment here.
Brandon says he likes the gambling aspect. Thanks for tuning in, Brandon. Rams could backdoor you if you get the number at 7.5 or higher. Could
Yeah,
happen.
Okay.
but because the Rams have definitely been playing better, but I think the Ravens handled business at home. Next game, we have the Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. The last time these teams met, the Chicago Bears had this game won. They had
Hmm.
it, and they completely choked the game at the end of the game. It was one of the most embarrassing things that I've seen the entire season. So I'm going to pick the Lions. The Lions are in a position where the NFC race is so tight. They're right there. They're right there in it. If they can win the games they're supposed to win, they're right there with the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Eagles. They are trying to contend so they can get a top seed, maybe even the number one seed. So this is a crucial game, division game, but the Lions are going to start to hit their stride and they're going to take care of business.
I mean, between the top four seat, between the four division leaders right now, it's only like what, 2 wins that's separating from the top seed. But yeah, most definitely the Lions. I don't think they're gonna make the same mistake that they did last time. What was it? Goff like kind of fell asleep through 3 picks. He finally woke up in like the fourth quarter. They had no business letting the Bears hang around that game. But one thing that they're great at doing is coming back from shortfalls, whether they win or lose. Um, but shoot, we say this, and the Saints almost caught them last week. So that's just something that has to be. Oh, hang on, we got JJ in the house. There he is. What's going on, man?
Hola,
All right.
¿cómo estás?
Well, I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna pass it to JJ, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the Lions in this one. The Bears have no business being in this game, and they won't be. Lions 30-10. Go ahead, JJ.
Oh, I see we already passed the Ravens game according to the
Yeah,
comments.
So who you
yeah.
got?
You barely missed
Who
it.
you got winning that game, Joseph? Please tell us.
I mean, I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit, but it's okay. It's too bad.
Break it.
No,
No,
it's your
break it
team.
down. We
It's your
got
team.
time.
Here,
We
you know
got
what? Here,
time.
we'll go right back to it. Rams, Ravens, JJ's take. Let's go.
Oh, thank you. So, obviously the Ravens are favored. The Rams are looking pretty good. The Rams just fresh off a nice little win against the Joe Flacco-led Cleveland Browns, who have now put him on the practice squad. The Ravens have to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars for Sunday Night Football next week, so this game could look as a trap game if they don't take it seriously. Now, we haven't played, I think, in like 10 days already. I'm not taking, a touchdown win. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to take that spread, but I do have the Ravens winning, but I think that the Ravens are going to have a little bit of a struggle just because when the team is, kind of having that little high, we win games after the bye, but sometimes we look a little sluggish. So I have the Ravens winning this game, and I have the Ravens win this game by like 5. So I'll take the Rams to cover on this one.
Okay. And then who you got out of Lions, Bears?
Interesting game. Interesting game. Because even though the Bears have a really bad record or don't look good, they actually play pretty decent football in the last couple of weeks. And Detroit has looked good, but if this should be a game Detroit should win, but it's up to them to seize the moment. And if they, don't take it seriously, Chicago could win this game. But the fact that they're saying they're only a 3-point favorite speaks to how much of a trap game this actually could be for the Detroit Lions. But I think they'll get their 10th win at Soldier Field. I don't think it'll be easy. I actually got the Bears covering because I think they'll have to win by like a point or two. But I got the Lions winning this game.
Sweet. Okay.
What is going on? Who are these people?
Got a lot of people commenting, man. So let's continue with the show. What is our next game? The Carolina Panthers against the New Orleans Saints. Is there anything that we need to really say about the Carolina Panthers? They're terrible. They're the worst team in the NFL, arguably. Even though I think a few teams could be in that conversation. But I got the Saints winning this one.
Yeah. I mean, I know Carr's injured, and Winston came in last week and showed flashes of him being Winston. you know. But it's the Panthers, okay? Start Taysom Hill at quarterback, and you can still win by 2 scores. I'm going to take the Saints in this one. I won't even call a score. They'll win by double digits. Go ahead, JJ.
Frank Reich's gone, right?
Yep.
He's out of there.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers win this game because when you have a new breath of life and a new coach and a new philosophy, things kind of tend a little bit different for a team. As we saw the Raiders play a little bit better when they got rid of Josh McDaniels, and then here comes Antonio Pierce. I don't know. I don't really. The Saints kind of bother me a little bit because they're not. They've lost games and they look bad against teams that they feel like I feel like they should be a little bit better in. That Falcons game was a little tough one. It's a division one. I do have them winning, but I have the Panthers covering. I can see the Panthers up, and they have to come back in the fourth quarter to beat this team because you don't know what to expect with the new coach and breathing a new life.
Right on.
Next game.
You didn't even pick your thing.
What are you talking about? I said
You didn't.
Saints.
We all
Y'all
picked
want
the
to be getting.
Saints.
You ain't getting no breakdowns or nothing. Good gracious, what's wrong with
Oh,
y'all?
I mean, there's not much to be broken down here. The Carolina Panthers are a pathetic team. They absolutely have not been able to do anything on either side of the ball the whole season. The organization is in turmoil, and I just don't see how they win this game, especially on the road. Vikings against the Raiders. The Vikings are still fighting for a playoff spot, although the Raiders have also been playing very, very well. I think the Raiders are going to beat Minnesota, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be a struggle for Minnesota, who was really feeling good about themselves. But I think they're gonna start to fall out of that playoff race in the NFC towards the end of the season. And these games that in November and December, when you start to lose these games, has a major impact. And we know Minnesota is a franchise that you can't really depend on in those type of situations where you got to win the big games. So I think the Raiders are gonna do something with the new coach, as JJ alluded to a little bit. They have played like a different team. They certainly really have. So I got the Raiders taking this one at home.
You know what? This morning, I was looking at the Vikings, but I may have to switch it and go Raiders in this one because this looks this looks to me like the Raiders Green Bay Monday Night Football game. You know, now all hats off to Dobbs. He's been playing. You know, he's been doing his thing out there in Minnesota since he arrived.
Four
But this
interceptions.
Raiders team, they still feel like they have something to fight for. They still feel like they got something to play for. If not a playoff spot, they're playing for Antonio Pierce. And if they can accomplish anything this season, it's getting that man the permanent job. So I'm going to go ahead for his sake and take the Raiders. I won't even call a score. They can win off a walk-off field goal. They can blow out Minnesota. That probably won't be the case because I don't think Aiden O'Connell can blow out anybody. But I'll take the Raiders to win. Go ahead, JJ.
I mean, Josh Dobbs didn't look good throwing four interceptions against the Chicago Bears, and now having them question if they're going to commit to him for the rest of the season. Right there, seems like the
True.
Josh Dobbs train might be coming to an end. And one thing I really know about a guy that's a defensive type of coach, 9 times out of 10, their game plan is to run the football and play good defense and have your quarterback manage the game. Minnesota has been up and down in terms of stopping the run. And Aiden has shown you if you can run the football, most quarterbacks can also work the bootleg or play action. So there are holes and there are, things that they can navigate through when it comes to this game. I am Minnesota may look like the better team on paper, but I actually think the Raiders are going to show more grit. And I got the Raiders winning this game too. I would take them to cover. I will not take that. I will not do the money line. I would take them to cover.
Okay.
Okay, so we're actually all picking the Raiders here, and Grizz is lone wolfing. He thinks Minnesota steals a W 24-23 Vikings. Next game, ladies and
Hmm.
gentlemen.
Awesome.
Seahawks versus the 49ers. After last week, we have no reason to have this debate anymore. The 49ers are the best team in the NFL, and it's not really even close right now after the way you saw them play against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I have no, even though this is a division game, 49ers are at home, 49ers are rolling. You can't really stop them. You can't really hope for anything because they don't really make any mistakes. They play so well on both sides of the ball. They're just the 49ers are a problem. And I got the 49ers winning.
Yeah, I'll take the Niners in this one. Quite possibly, I'll take the Hawks to cover as well. Didn't look so good for the Hawks on Thanksgiving. But yeah, they're firing on all cylinders. I ain't gonna be long on this one. And that's absolutely nothing against the Hawks. It's just how the 49ers are. They look unstoppable right now. You know, but surprisingly, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say that the Hawks actually cover. I'll take Niners 27-17. Go ahead, JJ.
So earlier, Jay prefaces and said that the Raiders are the best. The 49ers are the best team in the league. I think in a couple of weeks they have a game against a team that will figure if that is really true. Now, with that said, I do think the 49ers should win this game because I think they are the better team. And I think despite what Seattle has shown, because they are competitive, San Francisco, I think right now is getting into form. They're getting ready for their playoff push. And so I do think that the Seahawks will cover because I don't like double digit spreads, never have and never will. But I got the 49ers winning it, and they may look like the best team right now, but in a few weeks we'll talk.
Okay, fair
All
enough.
right. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Ding, ding, ding.
Chiefs. The Chiefs came off of a loss to the Green Bay Packers. Tyler is in the comments. He says F the Vikings. The Green Bay Packers, by the way, are one of the hottest teams and one of the most dangerous teams. I want to point that out.
If I could interject just real quick on something Wyatt said about, he says 49ers smell blood after the NFC Championship loss to the Eagles, but now they're back on track, it seems now. Honestly, I think San Francisco wanted to make a point when it came to this Philadelphia game, and I think they made it. I don't necessarily know if it's meaning that they smelt blood after the championship loss. No, I think they saw what happened after the game. They saw how players on the team and fans of the Eagles had talked about it after the win. So this game, they was like, okay, let's see what you can do when my guy is healthy. And I think that's what their point was made. But I just want to interject on that one.
But Buffalo, I think they're coming off the bye week, but that last loss to the Eagles, I think that was a deflating loss. And once you see a team like do everything that they can and they still lose, and it's a huge game that you got to have to kind of keep your slim hopes still alive, it's very tough to bounce back from that, especially going to Arrowhead against a Chiefs team that's going to be angry and motivated after that loss on Sunday night to Green Bay. So I got the Chiefs winning this one.
Yeah, I don't see Mahomes, losing back to back. And the thing is it's like with these games at Arrowhead with the Bills, it's like it's always something like they just can't like cross that finish line. They can't get it done. Well, there's going to be one more game that it happens. Allen and Mahomes will have a slugfest, but it may come down to, well, Josh Allen being Josh Allen and throwing that crucial interception down the stretch, and the Chiefs end up winning. I'm going to take the Chiefs by a touchdown. I'm going to say 30-23 Chiefs. Go ahead, JJ.
This game should be a learning lesson. It should actually break the dissension between why Patrick Mahomes has been successful to be able to get to the Super Bowl and why Josh Allen and the Bills continue to struggle. Because the Bills, I saw he says it's going to be a high scoring affair. No, the Bills have the better wide receiver core, but the Chiefs actually do something that if the Bills actually did, they actually would actually have a chance to win this game. They believe in their running back, and they use him pretty often. And last time I checked, Pacheco seems to be getting off. Pacheco's 5 foot. He's a 215-pound running back, running like he's Jerome Bettis and Mike Allstott all in one. But I think they're the same type of quarterback, the same type of arm, the same type of things you want to do with the quarterbacks. The only difference is Patrick has no problem letting Isaiah Pacheco take the reins of a game and win it for his team. And this
True.
looks like the type of game where it's going to be Isaiah Pacheco because both defenses are pretty strong. Even though the Bills have suffered some injuries, they are pretty strong on the defensive end because even though they lost to the Eagles a couple weeks ago. The Eagles had to come from behind to get them, and the Eagles had to get there, and there was uncharacteristically turnovers and stuff. But this is the same thing with the Chiefs. Their defense and their run game is the biggest reason why Mahomes is still maintaining that AFC West lead, and I think that Pacheco's going to run them to this game. I will say I got the Chiefs covering.
All right.
Coming up next, we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. I gotta say the Broncos were on a little bit of winning streak, lost to the Texans. Russell Wilson was, not good down the stretch of that game. Threw some crucial interceptions, especially the one late when they had a chance to tie the game. Pretty much just choked right there. But I think the Broncos have a better team than the Chargers. I think that they're going to bounce back and get the win. I just don't trust anything about the Chargers team from the top to the bottom. I don't trust Justin Herbert in any big games. I certainly don't trust Brandon Staley as the coach. He's probably going to be fired at the end of the season. And I just don't see any real reason I should pick the Chargers, and I'm not going to. In the words of Dom DeRubius, the Chargers are going to continue to charge. And the Broncos win.
I would not be shocked if the Broncos blew them out, honestly. Reason being is because how do you only put up 6 points against the worst, if not one of the worst teams in the league in New England? You got Eckler, you got Herbert, who was a 5,000-yard passer not that long ago, and you only put up 6 points? Yeah, I would not be surprised if the Broncos rent. Wilson didn't look good last game. He didn't. The Texans defense gave him hell. Forced 3 interceptions, including the game-sealing one in the end zone. I wouldn't be shocked if Wilson went off for 250 and 3 touchdowns. Give me the Broncos in this one. I'll take the Broncos 28-7. Go ahead.
So I want to
Okay.
break. I want to give a little bit of understanding in terms of the Chargers versus the Patriots. Number one, you could say what you want about the coach of the Patriots, whatever, but his game plan on defense is still the same. Take away your best weapons. And to be very honest with you, Justin Herbert only looks for 2 guys on his team, and that's what they did. They were doubling Keenan Allen, and they were spying and making sure Austin Eckler did not get out and try to get off. So when you naturally only look at 2 guys, and then the defense only wants to make you focus on those 2 guys, it makes sense why you can't have a really good game. And despite how bad that Patriots team is, it's just how you are built and just how you're made up on. In terms of this game, I do think this is going to be a closer game because I just think that end of the day, the Broncos and the Chargers know each other. The Broncos and the Chargers know these ins and outs of each other. Maybe having Sean Payton as a coach and nuances a little bit here and there is going to give Broncos a little bit of leeway on this one. But I think they know each other to the point where it's not going to be a blowout. Or, I mean, it could be a blowout, but I don't see a blowout. I do see that I think the Broncos are going to win this game, but I actually have the Chargers covering. Like, I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be a game-winning field goal from the Broncos that's going to have them winning by 2. I'll say 23-21.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
I think just real quick. I hear what you're saying as far as the because Belichick's defense is still the same, just about But also keep in mind, just earlier this season, the New Orleans Saints walked into that same venue, hung 30 plus, and shut them out.
They actually know how to use their weapons a little bit different. I mean, Kamara, they work on their stuff. They do trick plays with Taysom Hill. I hear you on that one. With the Chargers, they don't. The Chargers really only use 2 guys on offense.
Yeah, no,
They don't.
They're
They don't
poorly
do good.
coached.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go.
Cowboy X Factor says hello, Gauntlet crew. Hello, Cowboy X Factor. And our next game is fittingly the Eagles versus the Cowboys rematch from a few weeks ago. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites at home. But I have some things to get off my chest. First of all, the Eagles were totally embarrassed on Sunday against the 49ers. And I think I don't want to say it was a good thing for the team, but it was definitely a wake up call because if we're trying to go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, some things can't happen. And they were absolutely destroyed by the 49ers just attacked our linebacker position. It was totally exposed, and that's why they signed Shaquille Darius Leonard to the team. And he's supposed to be starting and coming in right away. And honestly, like people are saying they don't think he's going to come in and be that guy, but he's still going to be better than any of the linebackers that we have. And I think it's going to be very helpful for the team. But I also think that the team is hearing what people are saying. So I want to send a message to the world right now that go ahead and laugh when you still can. Laugh at us, point and laugh when we're still down. One thing about the Eagles, one thing about Philly is when we get knocked down, we're resilient and we come back and we let you know what it is. And on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas team that everyone's talking about how what great Dak Prescott is playing and all this other stuff, the Eagles are going to come out and they're going to bust the Cowboys' ass. I think that we're going to send a statement and we're going to win this game by double digits. And we're going to quiet a lot of the people going forward and we're going to continue this road. And as bad as the performance was, the Eagles are still in control of their destiny. 10-2 on the season, still in control of the number one seed. And I think they're going to maintain that control and send a statement. Eagles win.
All right. You know what? You go ahead, JJ.
So, on paper, these teams are pretty evenly matched, if I'm being very honest with you. I don't think there's too many advantages Philly has over this team or vice versa with Dallas. Maybe a little bit in the wide receiver area, but I think overall as a team, they're pretty much evenly matched. This is all psychological. This is all mental in terms of if can Dallas can win this game. Now I haven't heard anything, but I don't follow. But if they're not talking and they're just being focused, that gives them a better chance in my mind to overcome and beat this Eagles team because when they talk, that's when they have problems. You don't need to fuel the fire. You having lost so many times to this team should fuel your fire. I don't see blowout. I don't see blowout. And I am going to go with the favorite team here. I actually think Dallas will actually pull this off. I think Dallas is playing at a very good level now. I think Stephon Gilmore is having his day, and Dallas has something to prove too. Like their defense got shredded and almost lost to a Seattle Seahawks team where the defensive player of the year candidate got torched by DK Metcalf. We're going to see the grit of a team like this. We're going to see the resiliency of a team like this against this team. Now, it won't be easy. Philadelphia is not a team that is going to be sitting there just going to let you roll over and beat them. I think the Cowboys will win this game, but I think the Cowboys will win this game on the strength of their defense stopping a game-winning drive from Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
Hmm. Okay. Well, uh, you got two angry teams coming about because I know Philly is looking to get back on their feet following the loss last week. And the Cowboys, well, they finally beat their first winning team with a winning record this year. Um, I'm gonna pick the Eagles, but it's gonna be close. And I'm sorry, I know Eagles fans they want an ass whooping, you know. But the Cowboys are just, I mean, as much as y'all would like it to be 2008 again, 44-6. I think that was like Doc's last game versus the Cowboys or something like that. Tony Romo got ran off the field and everything. As much as y'all wanted to beat it, I think it's going to be way close. I think it's going to be a I think it's going to be a walk-off field goal Eagles. 34-31. I expect the Eagles to get to Dak Prescott, but I also expect that rush to get to Jalen Hurts also. My one concern would be, and hopefully his knee is absolutely 100%. My only concern is him getting banged up. He is a warrior. He is tough, but you're going to need him for the deep run in the postseason back to the Super Bowl. But I got the Eagles by a field goal.
All right, who we got on Monday night?
Part one of a doubleheader.
Packers versus the Giants. Oh,
Before you go, hold
here
on,
we
hold
go.
on, hold on. Before you go, I just want to remind everybody back there. Excuse me, I'm using a back scratcher. But I just want to remind everybody out there
Nice.
that the
Nice.
Giants have had multiple primetime games. The Bears have had multiple primetime games. Guess
Here we go.
who freaking has it? And they could actually win the division. Screw
It's
you,
because you're.
NFL.
It's just because you're not known yet, brother. The only reason why the Giants got
They'll
it
have
from last
prime
year
time
is
games
because
next year. I promise you.
Go ahead, James. But y'all know
you
what
Okay.
it
might
is
have it.
though, right?
You might have it.
CJ Stroud could be the first rookie quarterback since Dan Marino in '83 to receive an MVP vote, and they couldn't flex not one game for the Texans.
And did you think that was going to happen coming into the season? No. So you're not going to get it this year. Just relax. You're going to
They
get like a couple
flexed them.
prime time.
What? They actually just flexed the first ever. Y'all heard they flexed a Monday Night Football game for the first time, right?
Seattle versus Philly. Yeah.
Yep. So
You're, if your opponent has to be able to match the same level of intensity if you want to flex that game. If Jacksonville was playing y'all at the end of the season, y'all might have flexed it.
what game is this down
They
here?
just played like 2 weeks ago. They could have flexed it.
There's other matchups that may be better than that. Just chill out, Jay. You are going to get your time. Chill
James, my
out.
bad. I had to get that off my
Listen,
chest. Go
bro.
ahead, man.
You got a quarterback of the Giants that's supposed to be like a character from Sopranos or something, or like
No bullshit. Excuse me.
Goodfellas or whatever. Like doing doing this thing with his Italian self, man. Like the Giants are, like I said with the Panthers. Like there's a few teams that could be in the running for the worst team. They're in the conversation as well. The Packers are one of the hottest teams in the NFC. I would say to all the teams, but especially the Detroit Lions, you do not want to see the Packers in the playoffs because they're going to be so dangerous. They're playing so confident right now. Jordan Love is the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers' future for sure. And he's going to continue to show it on the primetime stage, and the Packers win.
I already pretty much, got my rant off. So there's nothing for me to say about the Giants. Give me the Packers. And they're going to win by 3 scores. Go ahead, JJ.
First, nice move with the back scratcher because I think all of us need one in life. Number two,
Yo, this joint is gold, man. Y'all need this.
um,
I got tired of, finding the corner of a wall and doing this.
uh, I do that all the time, and you're right. But unfortunately, the Giants don't have much going for it except for they do have the Saquon, who actually is still a piece. But I think the Packers are playing well. I think the Packers are gaining confidence. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they've. I think they're gaining confidence. They gain confidence knowing they can compete with their division by beating the actual Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day, and it looked like they were the team that was the 9-3 team that is the Detroit Lions now. And against Kansas City, albeit may not be the same offensive team, they had a good game plan. That Mike McCarthy, I mean not Matt LaFleur, whatever his name is,
Now the floor.
Matt LaFleur, they had a good game plan. And I think Jordan himself, they sit there thinking like, wow, okay, but we got to follow it up. This unfortunately presents the perfect type of trap game though, because after emotional and high win, you face a lowly team. Don't come in cocky, come in and handle business. And I got Jordan Love going on this thing.
All right.
Shout out to Jordan Love because on Thanksgiving, one of my props was Christian Watt's receiving yards. And on one play, that very first play, I didn't have to worry about that for the rest of the game. So thank you, mother freaking
Christian Watson
Jordan Love and
balling out.
Christian Watt.
Packers are dangerous. Listen, like this
They
is a
are.
team that's very dangerous.
They
So
are.
look out below. What's the second doubleheader?
And the final game that we will cover this. You said you
Isn't it
hate
come back?
double digit lines, right, JJ?
Uh,
I do. I don't like them. And
Titans are gonna get destroyed.
they're in Miami, right? Okay.
Yeah, they're at Miami.
That I just don't like double digit parlay tickets. But
You know, man, it's the Titans. I mean, come on.
if Miami's run defense has been like it as of late, then yes, I could see a blowout. But if their run defense is suspect, I could see a close game, and I could see the Dolphins covering.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, let me go ahead and take the Dolphins. The Dolphins have all the motivation in the world to stay the number one seed. Whether they actually stay there is anybody's guess. But you're playing the Titans. Okay. They're still filling out Will Levis and Butthead. They got Derrick Henry, and well, they already said they weren't trading him or whatever. He's pretty much their offense, their only weapon, unless D Hop can get open and Levis actually has time to hit him. But even with those factored in, the Dolphins once again they are an Olympic track team disguised as an NFL team. When you give one of them the ball, it's a potential home run. Tua's probably going to throw for 250 plus. Tyreek Hill's probably going to receive for 100 plus. So, no, correction. He will receive for 100 plus. Waddle's probably going to receive for 100 plus. They're going to throw a party on the Titans, okay? Give me the Dolphins by 2 scores.
I'm just gonna let y'all know that I'm going to bed early on Monday because I got to get up early in the morning and go to work. I don't got time for the Titans and the Giants wasting my time on prime time. And I'm glad you pulled this comment up. So
Which one?
JJ, Tyler said Tyler's comment. Leave it up.
Okay.
Tyler wants you to know that whoever has the biggest spread of the week is 11-2 this season in the games.
Well, we talked about it literally this weekend, and we talked about this very same
So what do you
comment.
think about
So,
that?
I mean, I'm surprised. Me and him are both surprised, and because he told me this last week coming into the past weekend, and then the past weekend the biggest favorite won. So it works well for Miami. It works well for them. We gonna see. We gonna see.
All
Okay,
right.
gentlemen.
Wyatt giving us our times for Monday Night Football. I'll be on
Can
PTO,
we?
so I'm gonna
Thank you.
I'm
I
gonna
will
get
be
real.
going to sleep or playing my Switch or watching something else. It will not be
Can
that.
we shout out? I want to shout out Wyatt. Wyatt, one day I want to meet you because I want to see if you really are a person. Because the way you
He's
be
a
spitting
person,
things,
bro. What?
If you're a
you might.
person,
I want to see if he's a
Wyatt's been
person that's.
AI this whole time.
He is a real person.
I want to see if he's an AI person. Like he's actually the first artificially intelligent person that we've ever seen. He's just keeping as a hush, because the way he puts up so many different facts and tidbits and stats, it is amazing. It is
Wyatt
absolutely
Chat
amazing.
GBT.
Wyatt definitely is a government experiment.
Who needs encyclopedias when you got him?
Wyatt is definitely a government
He's actually a
experiment.
real person, though. I can confirm.
I want to meet him so bad. That's my boy.
All right. Well, that's the show, y'all.
Okay, everyone, make sure two things. Tune in Friday for the Gauntlet show. Dom is supposed to be back with us. The reason he wasn't on tonight is because he's at the Pistons game wearing the opposing team's jersey, as he always does. No one hates more Detroit teams than Dom. So I gotta say, I'm looking forward to having the whole crew back together. We're actually going to change things up this week. We're going to actually talk about the college football playoffs and the results and the controversy. It's going to be heated. It's going to be fun. Tune in Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Of course, you be eating cheese.
You're going to be very constipated the next day.
From the fondue fountain that he ordered.
No, from all the cheese backing up.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I got a casserole I'm gonna go bake. So
All right,
I'll let you.
guys. Well, we will see you on Friday. Thank you guys for all tuning in.